what makes me unique is like my storytelling ability. Nobody else understands that, and nobody else can tell it the way that I can. And like everyone needs to understand that everyone has their own like super unique voice, and all this stuff is just a tool for you to express that voice. Everyone can write, but not everyone can sit down and write. Everyone has it in them. It's just like not everyone can just like close themselves away from everyone and sit down and just freaking do it. I think Quentin Tarantino says it. I think he says like, I make movies for one person, and that person's myself. If you make it that way, like it's gonna connect with other people. Make the thing that's like for you, and it will feel like it's for other people once it's all said and done, and you'll be most proud of it. It's the only scene that I wrote once, never touched it, shot it. Wow. It was perfect. Edited it once, didn't make any adjustments. I've never been more stressed in my life. I was having like migraines that would like knock me to the ground, or like I lost like 15 pounds, like wasn't eating. It was stressful. We had a Steadicam operator, didn't have time to switch it, so I just grabbed my FX3, put it on the gimbal, hopped on the back of a golf cart, and just one took all those shots of like the groups running, and we were just like running around like madmen. I wanted people to like sit there and have to feel uncomfortable and like see what it's like to see the aftermath of suicide. Movies are very much set up to be like an escape from reality. There's moments in this movie that don't let you escape, and it's uncomfortable, and it's important for a movie with this message to make you feel uncomfortable and have to look at it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 112 of the 505 podcast. Today we're welcome with a very special guest. We got Danny Gevirtz in the house, fresh off of his first feature film. Dude, insane. We got to see it in person.
It was so good. Shout out to Danny for hooking us up with free tickets. How cool that he had his own film premiere like in LA. I feel like that's like a bucket list thing.
And I mean, we had Nick film the entire thing.
So we pirated the movie. So we have it for you guys to watch illegally, which is great.
We're going to show the clips.
Yep.
We're kidding. Danny sent us over the film, but linked down below, okay? You're going to have to go buy the movie. You got to go see it. Skip your coffee today.
It's only $7.
Go watch the movie, dude. Show some support to Danny. Show the support to the team that worked on this. He did send us over the film, so we were able to break down these scenes for you guys. Not the whole movie. You got to go see the movie, okay? You're going to be watching this and be like, what the heck's going on if you haven't seen it? So go watch it. Then watch the pod, okay? We break down these scenes, and I think it'll give you such a better understanding of how he's lighting it, what he's thinking about, where the camera should be, what he's talking with the talent about, how to pull the most out of everyone in this crew to make the thing happen.
I can't stress enough how genuinely good the film is. If you were to have logged on to Netflix and clicked on this movie, you would not bat an eye that this was like a proper film. He is not a YouTuber that made a movie. He is a filmmaker that just so happened to have a YouTube channel. I love how he took like a minimalist, less is more approach. I feel like you think of movies and thinking about 100 people on set and all this expensive gear. But he was like, dude, fuck that. Like, you just need a camera, maybe a tripod, maybe a gimbal, and a light or two, and you're good to go.
Yeah, and he discussed how with a small run and gun crew, right? This is a much smaller crew. You're working with an indie film, right? You're not having like hundreds of people on set, but he still felt like even on these huge sets, like half of the people aren't really helping actually execute the vision. And so on his set, everyone was kind of wearing multiple hats, helping out in any way that they possibly could. And taking this minimalistic approach and using what he learned on YouTube really helped make this movie happen. And he had a DP, his name's Carlo, and he was also at the premiere. So we got to hear inside scoop from Carlo on what it was like to DP something like this and his thought process behind it. I mean, I can't wait for you guys to see it. So you got to click it. It's the first link down below. And I don't want to hold them up, dude. Let's get into this episode. Let's go. Danny, give me the one-handed crack. High hopes for you.
Well, just let it be known.
Yeah, I saw the dent. Do you want me to show you how to do it?
I'm also going to note for everyone that this isn't like a clean can, as in this seems like some sort of extra wrapping. So if my grip is improper,
right,
it's because of the
I
label.
put pine tar on it before we started, so there's not going to be that excuse.
All right, let me wipe my hand. Jesus, I don't think I've ever been so nervous in my life. All right, so pick it up first.
Pick it up.
Yep,
No,
nice.
yeah,
He did it right.
You did it right. You're good.
Pick it up first.
Yep.
Oh,
It's tough.
Shit out of it.
No, but you got it open, dude. See, he does that right after just to try to be cocky. Jesus.
That was a good one.
I
Danny,
don't feel like I got
you're getting
it
a
today.
4.9 over here in the corner. What do you got for me? Awful.
Just pure.
I mean,
dead.
I just got
didn't
wet.
see it. Dude, Danny needs a towel now. That was worse than Danny.
just-
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Dude,
Just got
that was one of the
Mars.
worst
That was-
I've
yeah,
seen
but
you
that's
in a while.
Mars.
Honestly, like first time doing it, that sucked. That was bad, man.
Dude, I know finesse, just power, dude.
Coasters actually can't open them.
Barry Bonds over here.
Powered level 99, awareness 0.
Coasters can't open
Yeah,
them.
so Brayden's the best at this. I'm the worst.
No. Oh,
Oh
just
God.
can never
Oh
get it,
God. Oh
Yeah.
God.
see, I just err on.
We've done so many, and I never get it.
Dude, you gotta get outside and start like
Yeah.
gardening or
Touching
something.
grass,
Get
I gotta
that,
go
get that
touch
maybe,
hamstring.
dude, maybe if
That
you
was so bad.
Coasty,
Brutal.
maybe if you didn't
Absolutely
complain
awful.
about the Dyson trigger vacuum, you know?
true.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it
Treat it
is.
as a workout, bro.
That's what it is, dude.
Dude,
It's so
across
bad. I can't
across
even-
the
so
board,
bad.
I just want to say I think we all did a great job.
Thanks,
Hey,
Dan.
thank you.
Cheers, baby.
Congrats, everyone.
We're
Cheers,
hyped to
guys.
have you here.
Yeah, cheers.
Dude, thanks for inviting us out last night. That was my first premiere I've
Yeah.
ever been to.
So
it was
good.
so fun.
Movie
Yeah.
premiere?
Welcome
yeah.
to Hollywood, baby.
Yeah, it was a really fun
I
time.
remember my
Dude,
first premiere.
to be honest with you, I've never been to a movie premiere other than my own, which
That's a
feels
vibe.
narcissistic.
No, it's a sick sentence to say.
Wish I could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were jealous of not getting invited. You're like, I'm just gonna make the damn movie.
yeah. Just invite myself.
Yeah. I just wanted to have a premiere. Yeah.
It was so good though.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
Love the
Thanks.
film. We have so many questions for you about
Yeah.
the nitty gritty of it all. And
What you were expecting?
I had watched one of the trailers and
Yeah.
I kind of had a feeling of what, but then I didn't watch the second one
Okay.
because I was like, all right, I've already seen
Yeah.
some of the scenes.
The second one almost gives away less too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's like a deleted scene in the trailer that like doesn't even come up in the film.
The one of the bird.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I wanted to come in really blind. I was trying to just like horse blinders it
Yeah.
because I just wanted to be like surprised and like totally blank. It really got me. And which because of that, I think I was more emotional because I just wasn't like ready for what was about to happen, but I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. So the whole film is structured and like, it's very much like feels like it's a dark comedy and like the first front like feels so much more comedy than like the heaviness that you get. So everyone's guard just lifts so much.
Yeah.
And the back half of the film is just like gut wrench after gut wrench. And I don't think people really expect it, or I don't know. I don't think it's something that you can prepare for.
No, not at all. I did think the comedy was so good though, because I feel like comedy in that can be really like, I don't know if we should be joking
yeah.
there, you know? But it was like so well done. I don't know. That's not a question. I just loved it. I thought it was so funny. Yeah.
I will also say when we do the podcast, and I remember when we were first starting out, if we would like send the podcast for someone to listen to, they'd be like, oh wow, this like sounds like an actual show. And I feel like coming from the YouTube space and making a film,
Right.
there might be some of that, but I left it being like, oh, he's not a YouTuber making a film. He's
Yeah.
a filmmaker who happens to
movie.
have
Yeah.
a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So I think I just want to give you your flowers because it was
Thanks,
like
dude.
so well done. We were saying how we feel like it could be a major motion picture.
Yeah,
like
so good.
you wouldn't think that it was
Thanks,
like
man.
an indie or something like
Thanks,
that.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Yeah. Like I started a YouTube channel. Like I was like a filmmaker, like, and just decided to start a YouTube channel to kind of give back and like provide knowledge of like kind of more of the traditional space and things that I was taking away from that because I didn't really see like that niche in the filmmaking YouTube space. Like there's Maddie, or not Tyler. Tyler's my manager. Maddie, Peter, they were doing like, you know, the travel filmmaking and like teaching people how to get like the sickest settings and like gimbals and all that great stuff. But there was no one like talking about like how to make money as a cinematographer or like how to get on sets and like how to act when you're on sets. So that was kind of like where I saw my way into YouTube and like tried to bring like Danny the filmmaker onto YouTube versus like starting out as a YouTuber and trying to transition to the other way around.
Oh, dude, totally. I mean, Brayden and I were definitely watching your videos trying to figure out what the fuck we were doing.
No, they were super helpful.
We all are.
Yeah.
Like no one knows what they're doing.
Right.
Which is like the whole point of filmmaking.
Yeah.
Everyone's just winging it.
Yeah. We were like, we know how to use the camera, but like, how do we do this with like other people around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you make people fucking feel something?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
this looks cool, but like how do I make it like something that someone can like take away?
Yeah.
Like something, a feeling or a thought or a laugh, something other than this looks cool.
Right.
Our other roommate, Sharif, he actually was a contributor to the film. And
Oh,
so
really?
he came with us. He was one of the people that
Oh,
came in our
awesome.
little crew, but he was like, dude, I like donated to it. So it was
that's
it was
awesome.
hype to
Yeah.
see it come full circle. And so tell me about when you kind of had the idea with Maddie, or if this came from you, to, hey, let's like use our audiences and see if people want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really cool to hear, like, I had no idea that he contributed to the film. And I think it's just awesome because people feel so a part of it. And I think like all of those people that contributed want to watch it so bad now,
exactly.
you know? And I think it was super awesome to see you getting your community involved in the film.
Yeah, I mean, I would have never been able to make this if I didn't have the community in the first place. Like the confidence that it gives you to have like so many people. I mean, not that like you need validation from like, I wouldn't even say strangers. Like, I feel like I know these people at this point, like, but to have like that unconditional support that I've gotten over the years of YouTube, and just people saying like, I love your work, like can't wait to see what you do next, can't wait to see what you do on bigger projects, like that gave me the confidence to even try to do this in the first place. And the fact that it was so hard to even make it, and like to even get through it and persevere, just knowing that there were so many people that I'd get to share with at the end, just really was motivating and like helped me fucking trudge through all the mud and crap that you go through to make a project of this scale. I mean, it's been like 3 years, but yeah, like it all started like the YouTube channel grew, and like I was making short films and putting them on YouTube, and we were getting sponsors for these short films, and like they were sponsoring the behind the scenes, and we're like using the behind the scenes money to then fund the short films themselves. And so me and Tyler were talking, Tyler's my manager, and we're like, why can't we just do this on like a bigger scale? Like, why can't we just like make a movie and use sponsorships to fund the film and like promote those sponsors in the behind the scenes? And we did like a 4-episode series of making the movie, and like each episode's like 45 minutes long. It's like a proper like Netflix doc series, which is like, you know, something that you don't get to typically see when people are making movies, like an actual inside look of what it looks like, and like how chaotic it is, and how like miserable yet how happy you can be all in the same month. So we used those brands, and Maddie Hapoya, who that's actually how I met Tyler. Like me and Maddie just became mutual friends through the YouTube community. They started like mentoring me on like the YouTube front, because like I didn't really know like the proper ways to monetize the channel and all that stuff. So they kind of guided me, and it kind of turned into like needing less guidance and needing more management. So that's where Tyler stepped in, and Maddie's just like always just been a part of like everything I've done, like helping support. And I think he just saw it as a great opportunity to support another YouTube filmmaker, and like push the envelope of what YouTube filmmaking is. And like we are like real filmmakers and like can make real stuff. And I think he just wanted to like put his bet on me, and hopefully, you know, it worked out for him, and like he's proud of it, which I think he is. But yeah, it's cool that like the whole YouTube filmmaking community came together to like, not the whole, but like,
no, I think they did.
Good
I
bunch.
feel like that's the coolest part about it is you, like I watch a lot. That's my favorite app, YouTube, for sure. And I think you see your videos, and a lot of people that are doing big things in the space have probably learned from you at a point, which is probably kind of wild. You meet these people and they're like, oh, I just DP'd this, or I just directed this. And it's like,
there's people who are like way better than me at like what they do now. Seriously. Like the colorist for the film, Cameron Marigold, he's like super high-end colorist now, like does like major projects, like every like famous rap music video you see or whatever. He started out just like watching my YouTube channel, and
That's
like
so nuts.
and he ended up like, that's the best thing. It's like people come and go, like they get what they need and they move on, and like they become successful in whatever they are doing. I'm just proud to have been like a little like part of their journey, and it's like cool to see like the traditional space being taken over by these people that are learning from YouTube.
Your practical lighting video is like, I feel like I've learned more from that video than like any other lighting video that I've watched. I just want to like shout that video out, because I was like, oh yeah, or like motivated lighting.
Motivated lighting.
I was like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So much.
It's so much easier than what you think it is, like filmmaking. Like, I mean, obviously it's a lot of work to like put all the pieces together and like get people on board. Like all the logistical stuff is a nightmare, but like the lighting and like the skills, like the camera settings, like there's no trick. Like it's you just explain it like clearly and simply for people, like it's like, oh, it makes sense, and like everyone can kind of apply it to their own things. And like there's like this whole thing in the traditional space of like gatekeeping and not want to give away like trade secrets and stuff, but like it's not like the point. Like teach people like the tools that they need to like make stories, and like the story is like the differential factor in all of it. And you know, like I'm not worried about like trying to like give away too much, because like I know like what makes me unique is like my storytelling ability and like the stories that like are close to me, and like nobody else understands that and nobody else can tell it the way that I can. And like everyone needs to understand that everyone has their own like super unique voice, and all this stuff is just a tool for you to express that voice. So like just learn this stuff, get it out of the way, and just, you know, get to the point where you can be like a filmmaker and like be yourself and put your stuff out there.
Make things consistently. Like we had Adrian Purr on last week, and he was saying, we're talking about gear for a second. He's like, dude, like people just gotta make the stuff.
Yeah,
like just
right.
make the damn stuff. He's like,
Yeah.
we could, and I think you see it now specifically on vertical a lot, where like someone could use a crappier camera. It could be in
Yeah.
the dark, but their story's amazing,
Totally.
and it like reaches the people that
Right.
it's supposed to reach.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
Like you said, I don't think it's hard, but I think writing something good is almost impossible, and you did it, which is sick. How did you like, so you said you made some shorts, but like how did you just like, did you know that you could write like that?
So I'm under like, this isn't like a quote I made up, but like it's something I believe in. Like everyone can write, but not everyone can sit down and write. Like everyone has it in them. It's just like not everyone can just like close themselves away from everyone and sit down and just freaking do it. Like
Right.
that's all it is. And like I'm not a genius like at all. Like I'm dumb as bricks. Like I like, you know, I'm just like a normal kid, normal student. Like I just like always worked hard and like put the effort in, and like wasn't afraid to like mess up and fail publicly or whatever it is. Like I just like always went for it, and it's something I wanted to do. Like I wanted to write a movie, and like that's what I did. I just like sat down, closed everything away. Like the only person I talked to that month was my wife and my dog, and just wrote. Like didn't look at social media and anything. Like the only thing that mattered and the only world I was living in was the world that I was building in the story. And that's what it takes, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, just always just like locking yourself away from the world. And
So did
being in your
you
head.
just open the laptop every day and you were going at it, or were you like a whiteboard guy? Do you have post-it notes
Dude.
everywhere? Was your
Yeah.
desk just like
Yeah.
crazy?
So,
you know,
like-
you had all the webs, like the
Yeah.
guy from what's
Yeah,
that? You know,
so it's like movies are like, if you break it down, it's just like a million ideas. Like all it is a million ideas just like cohesively strung together. So like had all these ideas. Like I knew this was the movie I wanted to write, and like had all these like funny jokes that don't necessarily pertain to like the story plot, but like, you know, like I like poop jokes. So like I knew like I wanted like someone to like explode diarrhea in the bathroom. So like that's just an example, but like just like all this like random stuff, and like that, and like I have like diarrhea up top left, and then I have like, you know, like heartwarming story or a heartwarming moment like bottom right, and it's like finding that weave and like having all these just like, I guess just at the front of your brain, and then I just took a notebook and just wrote. Like wasn't necessarily like the start of the movie. Like I just wrote stuff and like filled up a whole notebook of like scenes, not like properly formatted. Some of it didn't make sense, like spelling errors, like didn't matter if it was right or wrong, like didn't matter. It just was like the first draft of the script, and it was done. And like just the fact that I had this, and it was like I had a good start, like it was so relieving, and there was so much pressure just like off of like writing that first script. And then I was able to like go to the laptop and like put in the proper script format and like copy whatever I wrote. Like half of it I couldn't even like make out because like my handwriting sucks so much, and like my handwriting looks like I'm like a schizophrenic maniac, which I probably was during the time of writing it, because you're like, you are the characters, and like I'm like talking to myself as Spanky, you know. I'm like, how many people you fucking murder? 6, 7, 8? Like, Jesus, dude, my dogs are screaming thinking about you jogging around on fucking denim. Yeah, like I just like was talking to myself for a full month. But yeah, like when you translate it from like that like handwritten whatever I wrote to script, I was able to like kind of like fine tune and like adjust and like move scenes around, and you go through like 100 drafts and like you just read it every single day and you're thinking about it every single day and like, oh, like this could be different. This doesn't make sense. But yeah.
I also think what's really cool is you didn't go this big Hollywood route where you probably would have had 27 people that were like, this can't go in there, this can't go in there.
Right.
And you got to talk to us a little before the pod and you said that you were able to just be like your true, authentic self. How important was that for you going into the film saying like, yo, I have my friends behind me and I have this like insane community of people that are backing this film and I can be my authentic self.
Well, like no one from Hollywood gives a fuck about me. So it's like no one cares. Like that's also like a main reason I wanted to make it, is like a proof of concept of like I can do this. So like the next one, like people do want to give me money, but like no one's ever gonna come to you and like, hey, I want you to make this movie or like give you money to make a movie when you haven't done it before. So yeah, like nobody from Hollywood was calling. You know, being able to just like do whatever you want and like knowing that like you don't have to listen to anyone, you have full creative control. It's like probably the only way I'll ever want to do this, because it is such a hard thing and like so time consuming. Like we're talking about the writing process that was 3 years ago, you know, and I'm sitting here talking to you now and like I'm a different person than I even was when I was writing that, and like so much has changed. So like it's too hard for it to be a story that like you don't 100% care about. Like I don't think I would have made it through or like even wanted to do this podcast and talk about it if like at any point along the way things changed and it wasn't my vision anymore. So yeah, it was really special to be able to make like a movie that was like 100% something that I wanted to see in the world, which is like, I think Quentin Tarantino says it. Sorry for all this dumb movie quotes, but I think he says like, I make movies for one person, and that person's myself. And like, if you make it that way, like it's going to connect with other people. Like other people will connect with that story. Like other people have been through similar things or whatever it is. So yeah, just make the thing that's like for you, and it will feel like it's for other people once it's all said and done, and you'll be most proud of it.
They say write what you know, and you brought that up last night during your Q&A. And I'm just curious, what happened your freshman year when you were at Bucknell?
The easiest way to write is to write what you know, because like you know the fine details of everything. And like I would say this movie is like very much like the base of it is like things that like I know and I've gone through, or like people I know have gone through. And then when you start writing it, like takes on a life of its own, and it just like goes twists and turns. So like 25% of it is like at the base of it is like written by like purely things that like you've lived through or have felt, or ideas that you've had, like things that have haunted you or excited you or made you laugh, made you cry. And then obviously it goes wild. But yeah, my freshman year in college, I was really struggling. Like I would always consider myself just like a normal dude with normal depression, like whatever, you know, get through it. Like a lot of people deal with similar stuff. Like I'm no spokesperson for mental health. Let me just get that out of the way. But I went through like a lot of stuff my freshman year. Like you leave your friends, family, like most people do when you go to college. This sounds corny, but like I just lost like the state championship football game, which was like my like whole like life goal. Like as a child, like that's the only thing I ever cared about growing up or like wanted. And lost that, and like took me a long time to get over. I went to college for football and like hated it and quit the team, and like just like I don't know, it just was not for me. I didn't feel like I fit in with the crowd at Bucknell. I was a different type of person than I was used to coming from like public school, and like I just felt like I was alone, didn't fit in. I lost my community. I lost the things that I love the most. Yeah, just like a buttload of really shitty stuff was happening. And that normal depression just spiraled really quickly into wanting to die. And like I saw firsthand what it was like to feel like death was the only option for you. And like obviously like I made it through all that. Like I luckily like, you know, had the strength to get myself to try out like for the track team. And like I met like my coach A, who was in the film. I like was welcomed into this community of people that I felt like I belonged with. Like on that team, I met my wife. And I don't know, I was just like lucky enough to like be able to regret ever feeling that and like going through that and like I guess it's like a special thing that like I'm also a storyteller and I'm able to like tell a story where you can like, I want to say like you can go back and like shake that person and be like, dude, like, listen, you're gonna have the coolest life of all time. You're gonna be sitting on a podcast with 3 cool bros and like talk about like a movie that you made in front of a pretty much sold out crowd in Los Angeles last night, and like you're gonna have the coolest job. You're gonna have marry the woman of your dreams. You're gonna have the Michael Jordan of dogs. Like you're gonna travel the world, like go to Kenya, like all this cool stuff. So yeah, and like I know for a fact like my situation isn't unique. Like as young people, like you put yourself in this bubble, and like every small thing like feels so much bigger because you haven't had time to grow through life and like develop like this mental toolkit of like things to help you through tough times, like whatever that is, like therapy, like music, art, like community, whatever it is that like can help you get through the tough things. You just don't have like the mature mind to like understand as a young kid. So wanted to make this movie and just like be like, yo, don't kill yourself. Pretty much.
Yeah, I think that like you said, like you made it for you and then other people can relate to it. I think we've all kind of unfortunately at least related to it via a friend or whatever or something. And there's other scenes that I think related to in other ways too. And then there's also like I think you said this in the Q&A that's really stuck with me, is that like when you're in this mental health struggle, like there are still happy moments too. Like he's funny, but he's also still depressed. And I feel like that's never represented in movies properly, where it's like he's sad. This guy is a sad character and he's just sad. Yeah. And that sucks. Yeah. That's not what it's like. You know?
It would have been so boring.
Yeah. And I just thought that was so well done, and like the comedy, and it kind of brings me to you talking about joining the track team, which was, I think my favorite scene is when I don't know how much, I don't want to give away pivotal parts of the movie. Yeah,
but watch the movie.
Just watch the movie.
Watch the damn movie.
Yeah,
now.
Yeah. Pause now. Watch the movie.
We got a
come
link
back
down below.
Well, we want to go over specific scenes, and there's gonna be spoilers.
Yeah.
So like, if you haven't seen the film, go watch it and then come back.
Top link. It's linked right there.
Yeah.
He's in the locker room. He's after practice. It's like dark in there. I'm like, is he gonna get fucking beat up? Like, I'm not ready for him to get bullied. I'm really not. And I'm like, I'm not emotionally like okay with him getting bullied right now. It's like dark in there. And
I would never do that to him.
No, dude, I was so stressed out. And then he has like this amazing like slow motion initiation scene, and it's like so sweet and like, but in like a really genuine way.
Yeah,
where they still like
really
slam
funny.
him for calling him pills. They're like, but then he's like clearly like happy about it. Like I don't know, it just really got me. The lighting, the take off the pants, and like they're all like, it's like he's got a big cock, right? Like there's like subtle nods to like it being large for sure, right? Because they're all like, look, and they're like,
I know what you mean. It's more so like, so that scene, it's my favorite scene, maybe. Like in my opinion, like this is the only time I'll brag. Like I think it's the most unique movie scene that there might ever have been in a coming of age film. Like I remember, so it's the only scene that I wrote once, never touched it, shot it. Wow. It was perfect. Edited it once, didn't make any adjustments. It was also the first scene that I showed my wife Anna when I wrote it. I was like, yo, come here, read this. It's like the weirdest fucking scene of all time, but like it's so silly and so weird and so bizarre. But like you said, it's like, it's so happy. Like it's the first time we see Will, this character, smile, and like it's the first time he's a part of a community, and it's like the thing he needed, and like all he wanted to do was feel like he fit in to this world, and he found that community, and like his wiener, like a normal wiener, I would say. Okay. Yeah. If I had to guess, I would say Will has a normal wiener, like pretty average.
They look and they're like,
it's more of like he's one of us. He's one of us and like a part of the crew. And I don't know if you noticed, but like the music during the initiation is the same as the music that plays during Robin's downfall. And like to your point of like having happy moments and sad moments, like the music is the same, because I feel like when you're really going through it, like the feelings are very manic, and that the highest of highs can feel as euphoric as the lowest as lows. Like when you feel so low, it sometimes feels good, and it like feels euphoric. And I wanted the music to represent that, and like the happiest moment that Will experiences is the same music as the lowest and worst point in Robin's life. So yeah, just wanted to note the music.
How did you light that specific scene? We were talking about it when we got out of the film. I know there was
a shower scene?
Yes, there was a lot of haze. Looked beautiful in there.
I mean, we're in a shower, so like I wanted to like
Yeah,
really
steam,
feel it.
the steam.
Yeah. I mean, we had like a couple nozzles on to like make it look like
Oh,
the showers
sick.
were running, but
Oh,
like
okay.
it was like nobody like really showers in high school anymore. Like those showers in that high school haven't been turned on in like 10 years. They'd like unlock the gate and like sweep the cobwebs and like the water came out brown at first.
Like, all right, Spanky, get under there, dude.
yeah. So the water was like ice cold. So we added haze to make it look like it was like really steamy, and like I wanted to feel like almost like this euphoric daydream. So we had like a top light that pretty much did, I would say 99% of the work. Just one top light haze, and it's really like the actors and the paint on their chest that makes it look really special, and like their like skin in the red paint is such like a, I don't know, it's such an image. Like like I always say too, like the difference between like big movies and like small things, it's like not lighting. Like lighting's always like kind of the same and stuff. Like there's only so much you can do. It's the actors, like they're very much like what makes the image. Like for example, like whenever we did like stand-ins, or like me or like Carlo or like someone on the crew like stood in to get like height or lighting looks before we pulled in the actors, because you want the actors to like remain in their headspace and not be like putzing. Jesus,
I liked it. Yeah, she just putzing around.
yeah, just putzing around.
Old Hollywood.
Yeah, what am
right
I?
to it.
It's just, dude, this is showbiz, baby. We all looked ridiculous in frame. Like we just look so dumb. Like I don't know. It's just like they're the reason they're actors. Like they look good in frame, and like they really are like the image in the shower scene. And the red paint is just so cool. Like and it's such a silly thing. It's actually like the title of the film, I Think I'm Sick. Like it kind of looks like a horror film, like with the titling, but like it's just like an inside joke of like it's the red paint on their chest. It's like the dumbest thing in the world, and like it kind of gives you the idea that like mental health is like really scary and like this like horror thing, because it kind of is, but at the same time it's like just a funny joke.
Yeah. Staying on lighting, one of my favorite scenes was the dancing scene, like the one shot dancing. So good. Was not expecting it either. Did you like that at all, or is that just like the lights of the street? Like, how do you light a scene like that?
We didn't light it.
Dang.
The only light was the red tube light that turned on at the end. I pretty much just found this like the path with the best lighting. Like I found up against the wall, his like silhouette like also appeared during dance. I was like, oh, we gotta do something here. And like we had like this idea in our head that we were gonna choreograph that whole scene and like bring in a choreographer, and it was gonna be like so cool. And like making movies so hard, and like on an indie film, like there's no resources or anything, so it ended up being like me making something up 45 minutes before we shot it, and like teaching Connor, and like luckily Connor's like a trained dancer and like has been on Broadway and is just an amazing performer, and he took like that choreography to like a whole next level. And we had a Steadicam operator, did 3 takes, and that was it. It just worked. We like had the music playing off the phone, like we were just like shooting like an old school music video. So like all like those little shoots that you do, like all the crappy music videos, and like all the stuff that you go through, like maybe you leave and you're like, oh, that was like the worst shoot ever. Like all that stuff adds up, and like it makes you like gritty, and like just like I don't know, you just understand how to work with so little. And yeah, that was like the perfect example of that scene.
Did you? Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna.
I'm gonna go. Did you cast knowing he had to be able to dance, or
That was
did
my
you?
question.
I knew it. Or did he come in? You're like, this guy's perfect for the role. Oh, he can dance. Shit. Like, let's throw this in there too.
No, dancing was not a requirement. Like I almost didn't like picture him being good at all. But like it made it so much better that he was good at dancing, just because it made like it's like a daydream moment, so it makes that daydream seem so much funnier that in his head like Will's just freaking sick at dancing. Yeah. Like this nerd like Will. But no, like so Connor's self-tape for his audition was the Suicide No Delivery. And I remember like I was at my parents' house in South Carolina visiting them, and like I'm just like scrolling through like all the submission tapes, like kind of getting like down because I'm not really finding exactly what I want, and like watching Connor just like just tearing up like in the film, like he says the name of the film, I Think I'm Sick, during that monologue, and like a tear drops down his cheek as soon as he says the title of the movie. I'm like, this guy's perfect. Like, what the hell? Like his eyes twitch back and forth. He makes his like nose flares, like lip quivers. And it's like how does this guy do this? Like, it's like blows my mind. We had like talks with like streaming platforms and stuff, and like the biggest critique that we had was like, we don't have A-list talent and like celebrities like as actors, and like it was hard to market. And I was like, our actors are A-list talent, like better than any actor I've seen. Like, these people are amazing. Connor is incredible, Tia is incredible, and like they're the reason that this film works so much. But yeah, going to your point, like, didn't know Connor was a good dancer, but it worked out that he was.
That was like the first thing we talked about in the car on the way home, is like, I just feel like the casting was, one, incredible, but two, it's like, I feel like it was so much better than like a big Hollywood movie, because like Tia, for example, just looks like the pretty girl from your high school. She's not like Sydney Sweeney, where it's like, oh, she's a big movie star, and it kind of takes away from the role just because they need like her value, right? It's like, no, this person's actually just perfect for the role. We don't need her to have value.
Say that Tia is a much better actor.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. No, I'm saying, but like the look, like she looks like genuine, like what you would expect, and like what's actually more authentic.
Yeah.
And I feel like movies just lose sight of that because they like need the value of like a big name. And I just feel like it was perfectly like cast for like the roles.
She had to look like a high school cross country girl.
Yeah, and she did.
So Tia too, like she's not a traditional actor.
Right.
Like I told this story last night during a Q&A, but like I could not find like a good Robin. Like, it's so hard to find good actors when you're doing like a non-union shoot, and like you have to like kind of almost find people that kind of are that role. And like I remember Tia reaching out way back when she ran track with Anna at Bucknell. I mean, I ran track there too, but I was older before she got in there. She reached out just like asking for like advice of like trying to get in like the camera industry. Like, she wanted to do camera stuff, and I knew she was interested in acting, and I knew I like needed like someone who looked like they ran cross country, someone who could run and was like a good runner. Like, I'm trying to portray this girl as like a state champion runner, and like nothing like pisses me off more when like the quarterback in the movie has like a limp arm.
Terrible.
Like, yeah, crazy. It blows my mind and like instantly takes me out. But like Tia, like running, like she looks like she runs. She can run. She's gone through a lot of the same stuff that like Robin goes through in the movie. With Tia, like the main selling point was like her voice, like the rasp in her voice. You can like feel the pain in it almost, especially during the suicide scene when she's screaming for her dad. Like, that scene is so powerful because of her voice, and like her, like you can't just like put anyone else in that scene and like feel the same thing. There's something felt so real, and like something felt so true in that scream. Like, she had been through that herself. Like, there was no actor like that felt like it was Tia screaming. So yeah, just unbelievable. She won like Best Actress at the Garden State Film Festival in her first time ever acting.
Wow.
Yeah, and then like I cannot bring up Spanky.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Wes. Like I grew up with Wes. One of my good friends. Like, we used to have sleepovers together. Like, I remember like we were like 10 years old, like all three little dudes just sharing a bed, like up late at night, like on E-Bombs World, like waiting up for like the Girls Gone Wild commercials that popped up on MTV late at night. Like, so like I don't know, like Wes gets my humor. Like, we grew up together, and like he's one of the funniest people that I've ever met. And he's out in LA pursuing acting. It was just like such a treat to be able to like reconnect and like have him in this film, and like he literally made my experience on set so much more fun. Like, every moment I got to share with him on set was like two friends just feeling like we're doing something, like making something of our lives. So it was really special to have Wes on there.
How many people at a given time did you have on these sets? And where was it all shot at?
It's all shot mainly at this high school outside of the Philadelphia airport in Prospect Park. which is terrible because like there's always planes going by every time we're out set. We're
Pause.
like, hold for plane, and like we're already running behind on time, and our sound guy was like getting pissed at us and all this stuff. But it was literally the only school within a 30-mile radius of Philadelphia. We reached out to every single school in the 30-mile radius, and it was the only school that said yes, because there's like, you know, there's boy butts and like vulgarity, even though it has like a really deep message. It's like rated R film, so it was hard to get a pass. We did have like letters of recommendation from mental health professionals who like reviewed the script and like worked with me to like tweak some things that were a little off. But yeah, they're the only ones that said yes. They had prior experience with film sets. Mayor of Easttown filmed some stuff in there, the HBO show. But yeah, mostly there. And I would say we had like 30 people on set any given day.
You talked about how a traditional like movie would have all this shit. They got this huge scrim. They got like 97 people that are just walking around not doing much. And you felt how your crew, some of them were doing multiple roles, and you had like a team of just dogs that were, everyone was working on different things. Everyone was willing to help out. Carry a C-stand, I'm carrying a C-stand, doesn't matter. How do you feel like that played to your advantage when you got to make this thing and you saw like, okay, we can do this for way smaller? And we even talked before how like even on ad sets, dude, like there's just so much shit that doesn't need to be there. And there's like 47 lights sometimes. Like we just need 2. We just need 2 lights here. Why do we have all this stuff, dude? And a lot of people standing around.
Yeah, the film industry is so inflated. Like there's so much extra stuff. Like you don't need the crafty tent at every single scene. Like grab a granola bar, put it in your pocket, bring it with you. And like I very much have like, I've done like the solo filmmaker thing where I've done like everything myself. So like, even if I didn't get a big crew or anything, I always knew that like I was going to make this movie no matter what. If it was by myself, it was going to be by myself. Obviously it makes it a hell of a lot easier when you have like a crew of dogs, of people who just want to be there, help you make this thing. Like it's indie film, like people were working for lower rates, but like everyone was there for like a common reason. They wanted to be a part of a movie, and it was a lot of people's first movies. And it just felt like we were doing like all this like cross country stuff in the fields, and like we're at a high school all summer. It just felt like had this like summer camp vibe. Like everyone was just like having so much fun, and it felt like we created like a really strong bond. And like it sounds so stupid to say, but like it felt like a family for a summer. And like you need that because the days are so hard and so long, and there's so many decisions being made, so much stress. Like everyone wants to do a good job. So like it could easily fold and collapse if you don't have like a support system around you. So being up at 4 a.m. in a diner, like after shooting all day, like it's important to have people that you really love being around.
Flag on the play.
What do we got?
I know. A brief moment from Lexar memory. Okay. These people are actually helping us out a ton because we need memory cards, dude. Every single person listening to this needs a memory card.
And the reason you need it, right? I love that Danny's talking about minimalist approach.
Yes.
All you need is like a camera, a tripod, a light, and you're good to go. You need the memory card, or else you can't film the movie. You can't film the movie, or you can't maybe film the vlog that we put out.
Yeah, so that was the first ever rock vlog that you guys watched. It was all filmed on the V90 128 gigabyte. It's linked down below. Okay, that's the preferred choice, and it's sick color, dude. It's gold.
It's literally what we use to make our content.
Can't beat it. And Nick filmed all day. You can trust it. We got home, threw that in the computer. It's
Chef's kiss.
Ready to rock and roll.
Go get you a Lexar memory card.
They're all linked down below. They got drives now too.
Armor SSD?
You can't beat it, dude.
Come on.
So we're dumping our stuff on now. So it's just a 1-2 punch.
Boom.
Match made in heaven, dude. Come on. All right, let's get back into the show. You shot one of the scenes at the high school at night, and you guys had 12 pages to get through in one single night.
Yeah,
the night before, are you sleeping all during the day so that you can be alive? / are you also meeting with all of the crew and being like, yo, we got to be on it. Like this needs to be done in under 15 minutes. Like we want to be out of there by 7 a.m.
Yeah.
What does the initial prep look like? That maybe was different than the other days when you're like, we have 12 pages to get through.
I would say I barely slept that month at all. Like no matter how tired I was, I've never been more stressed in my life. Like my wife can attest to it. Like I was having like migraines that would like knock me to the ground. Like I lost like 15 pounds. Like wasn't eating. It was stressful. But like that was towards the pool scene where it was like 12 pages in one day. It was like, I think it was day 20. So like everyone knew what to expect. Like everyone was kind of on their toes, and like it was a lot of dialogue too. Like it was that long pull scene between Robin and Will. Long conversation when Will first meets Spanky in the pool. So there's a lot of dialogue, which goes quick, especially if you have actors who really know their stuff. Like, luckily Connor comes from a stage background where like, if you don't know your lines, like get off the stage because like you're performing live, so you better know your lines. Wes just like so dialed, like I don't think that guy missed a beat. Like he hit like every and like whatever. Like that guy like was dialed. And Tia's self-tape audition was the pool scene, so she was already like so in tune with that scene. I think just all that prior preparation that the actors did, and like before you even start to shoot, there was a week of rehearsal week where you just walk through the actors with whatever they're going to encounter, and like you have them run lines together. You kind of get like your direction out before you even step on set with them. So they knew what to expect. Like Carlo led the camera and lighting team like to a T, like exactly how it needed to be led. Like we need to be quick, we need to be minimal, gotta look good still. It gotta look natural. And like Carlo's a beast. Like the guy just like handles pressure so well. It was his first feature, and like I wouldn't say I'm the easiest director to work with. Like I'm very controlling, and like I like expected a lot out of him, even though I knew he came in with like no preparation, because he came in like after we parted ways with our first DP, and like kind of came in like having not even read the script, and like didn't expect to be shooting a feature all month. So I just like, it was like before every single day, me and Carlo got there like an hour early, and we talked through and walked through every single thing, every single shot composition, like on Artemis, which is like an app on the phone, like frame size, got it all dialed in before anyone else set up. And I knew I could trust Carlo to just communicate that message across the board, like exactly how it needed to be communicated. So,
and Carlo started as your intern, correct?
Yeah.
So can you talk about how that relationship has blossomed throughout the years?
Yeah. So I have like an internship program, and I think it's been going for 5 years now. I've had 5 on the 5th intern, I believe. Carlo was first, Santana, Pat, Carson, who just graduated. Now I have Vinny. Yeah, Carlo was the first like mentee, I would say, and it was before I even had like the internship program. I would like just starting to grow the YouTube channel, was still kind of doing traditional DP stuff, and just a young guy reached out to me with like a really nice message. He was shooting like, I don't know, like more, I would say like travel content, but he wanted to break into like traditional cinematography and like get an understanding and like learn how to make filmmaking a career. So I took him under my wing for like a year. Taught him everything I knew, like most of all, just like I always preach, just like you just have to be a good, kind person and just like give as much as you can to the project and the people that are part of it. And you know, he's already just an amazing dude at his core, and he took that and ran with it. So I always knew like Carlo was like an incredible person. I like moved away to Hawaii and like hadn't really been keeping up too much with like his work. I knew he was doing good stuff and getting better, but like I hadn't worked with him in years. So after like things weren't working out with the first DP, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna DP and direct this thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, which was gonna be tough, but like, you know,
Got nothing, that dog in you.
Yeah, nothing I couldn't handle. So first day, I brought Carlo in and I was like, dude, I just need you to help me, like with whatever it is, like with the camera, like if I need you to like, you know, AC or like do whatever. We like lost our whole camera team when, so he came on crushing it, just like having like really good suggestions on stuff. Like when I had to talk to the actors, I could count on him to just like set up the composition or like whatever it was. So day one of week two of production, which was Carlo's first day, like things went really well. Like first time we ran on schedule and like got what we needed. Then day 2, things were going the exact same way, and like he's communicating with the grips what I need, because I'm like had to go talk to the actors and like make sure they're prepared, and like talk to the art department, make sure they have everything they need, talk to the producers, make sure like, you know, the porta potties we have on the scene like a week from now are the right color, you know. I saw he's doing an amazing job. It was the classroom scene with the fun fact. And
It's not funny.
Yeah,
I love
It's
that.
not a fun fact.
I just walked up to Carlo and I was like, yo man, you want to be the DP? And he's like, yeah. And that was it. And like the rest was
Sick.
history, and like things work so smoothly from then on out. And like I felt like we were having fun finally. So yeah, it really is just like a huge learning lesson of like work with the people you love working with, and know you like have a deeper connection with other past work. Like me and Carlo are like good friends now, and like me and Anna are going to his wedding on Sunday, and we're gonna watch him walk down the aisle and like marry the love of his life. And it's like making me tear up.
Yeah.
Like I'm like proud of the dude, you know, he's like the man. So it's cool that, you know, I've been able to like help him to get to a certain point and to see him flourish. And like it's like the whole point of the internship program, just like see these young guys like grow up and like crush it and like do bigger and better things than hopefully I could ever have done. So
I think you can tell too from just the connection that you two had, like with the film. Like you could
totally.
tell there was a connection between you guys, and even in the Q&A, like that was our first time like seeing him, and I mean it was
he's so cute when he answers his stuff
It's
on
so-
stage.
Yeah, dude.
it was awesome. I
Crowd
mean,
favorite.
yeah, I think it was just such a beautiful film. Now going into the cameras in the lenses that you guys picked out, beforehand, is this stuff that he owned, or was it? I know he owns the Venice,
Yeah.
right? And
So
was
that we shot
that
on
was what we
Sony
shot
Venice?
on?
Yeah, so this was before he owned the Venice.
Oh,
wow.
First time he used the Venice was on this shit.
Oh, and he
on
was like,
set.
this is my shit.
Yeah.
He's
So
like, I'm buying it next week.
Through the YouTube like channel, we have a good connection with Sony, and the people at Sony Cine like sent over
Oh, wow.
the Venice for us to use. It was like, I'm pretty sure it was coming off the set of like what's the Tom Cruise Top Gun?
Oh,
No
Like
way.
they had like 50 Venices. I'm pretty sure it was like coming off that set.
Unreal.
Yeah, it was like, all right, here
Take
you
off
go.
this jet and send it
Yeah,
over to you.
send the wheels were on.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? So they sent us to Sony Venice, and we just wanted lenses that fit like a full frame, and it was really like what was available and what could we afford. Like it wasn't like we're testing lenses
Right.
and like getting the sickest things. So we ended up with Cook S7s just because they fit the full frame, and it's like they were sweet, but like I would say like they look like my Sony 24-70. Like there's a ton of scenes that were shot on my FX3 with the 24-70, and like you can't tell the difference, you know. So
So did you bring it as like a, because I've done ad work where I have to rent like a bigger camera, but I bring my C7 or my Canon C7 just as like a comfort blanket, just because if I'm like, it's just like I know he's there, like just in case I need
yeah,
him,
if I
you
can't
know?
figure this out.
Would you bring like your FX3 just to be like, fuck, maybe we're low on time, or like a second angle, and
Yeah.
like just like have it?
Yeah, it was really for like specialty shots.
Yeah.
Like,
When
we
he
didn't-
pukes in the trash, is that FX3?
yeah, he pukes in the trash, like specialty shots, like it's in the trash can, it's in the locker, high angles, like if we couldn't afford a Steadicam operator for the day, like we just put it on my gimbal and I just operated.
That's sick.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's
Or
so rad.
like the scene where Will first joins the team and they're going back and forth of like he say she say.
Yes.
About like why he tried to take his own life, and like they're like warming up and then they go into running. Like it started raining, so we lost like 2 hours, and then the sun. But we had like maybe 15 more minutes of daylight, and we had that entire thing to shoot still. Everything was one take, set it up really quick. Shot. We had a Steadicam operator, didn't have time to switch it, so I just grabbed my FX3, put it on the gimbal, hopped on the back of a golf cart, and just one took like all those shots of like the groups running, and we were just like running around like madmen. And by the time like Coach A swoops him up in the golf cart, it's like pitch black, like you can't even see Coach A. Like yeah, so like I don't know, it's just like thank God we had the FX3 on deck and like could make that happen.
That's so cool.
Besides being low on time and having to stay on schedule, as a director, how do you know when you've gotten the take that you're like, okay, that's it? How do you know when it's time to move on to the next scene or the next take as a director?
You just gotta feel it. It's like that felt right. Like even if the dialogue's not perfect or whatever it is, it's more of a feeling. And Clint Eastwood, I'm like, I
love it, dude.
I feel like a nerd, like bringing up all
Keep
these like.
keep
we love it.
bringing it up. We're
Good for
big
clips,
fans.
dude.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood, he's famous for like doing like not a lot of takes. And there's this story where I forget what actor he was working with, but they did one take and Clint Eastwood was directing. He's like, all right, we got it. Let's move on. And the actor was like, oh, you sure? Like, you don't want me to like try another way? And he's like, and Clint Eastwood looks at him and goes, you want to waste everyone's time? Let's move on. And so like, yeah, it's like we didn't have a ton of time. So if I felt like we got it, like I'm not going to sit here and try and do it like 100 different ways. Like
Right.
we don't have David Fincher level time and money. Like he's famous for doing like 100 takes on every scene, and they shoot like 1 scene a day. We're shooting 8 scenes a day. So we got to move quick, and like actors knew what they were doing. It felt right. Let's get out of here.
What would be the thing you'd say on like, say the next one? What was like the one thing you would want more of? Like, would you just be like, fuck, if I just like had $1 million, it'd be so much easier, or like more time, or
yeah, I would say like more flexibility.
yeah.
With bigger crews, it feels like it's really hard to move from one thing to the next, just because there are so many people involved, and it just naturally takes a while. Or like it was easier with Carlo, but like traditional like camera teams and stuff, it takes a while for them to like move the camera and like all this stuff. Like I just want the camera in my hands, like ready to go if like a spontaneous moment happens. Like I remember a train going by and I was like, oh, this would be a sick B-roll clip, but I couldn't get it because like nothing's up and running. Or like here I go again, like Sean Baker is my favorite director, and there's a scene during the movie The Florida Project where they're in the front of the motel lobby, and like these like giant like birds just like walk through the lobby, and they weren't like ready to shoot, but they were nimble enough to like get it set up while the birds were still there. And they had Willem Dafoe, like this famous actor, just like deliver his lines like walking through the birds, and it just like looks awesome. And like looks like they like had like a pet caretaker on hand to like, or whatever they call like the animal caretakers on hand, like putting the birds there. But no, they were just like ready for spontaneous moments. And I felt like we lost like so many good sunset moments and all that stuff just because we weren't like as nimble as I would want to be.
Wow, so you'd even go less.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring up the Floater Project. I felt like I was just always like doing comps in my head for whatever reason. I was gonna bring up the Floater Project. Have you seen Shithouse, the Cooper Rafe movie?
I haven't.
Oh,
no.
it's a similar like ish
Is it
vibe.
like a college?
Yeah, it's like freshman year of college.
I've seen the trailer.
You should watch it. It's like the whole time I was like, it's because that's one of my favorite movies like ever. And it's kind of similar. He was just like, fuck it, I just need to make a movie. He like stars in it as well. But then his next movie was like with Dakota Johnson. He's got money now and stuff, which you know could be your trajectory. But I was like, it was like it's kind of like Shithouse, but like more ambitious because you weren't like more afraid. Like you weren't afraid to go where you went, obviously. Right, and I don't know. Again, not a question. I just really appreciated that you were willing to go where I felt like one of my favorite movies wasn't quite willing to go there yet. Yeah.
And almost like it, like even though it's a small film, it like feels like a world. Like the whole high school itself like feels like a world. Like you understand the dynamics of like the track team and like the classroom and like Robin's house. It like feels like you're a part of this town, so it doesn't feel so small. Like there's so many different characters, which is hard for indie film, and it's like chaotic, but I don't know, having all those different like little characters, like the guy in the library who Jordan Rubio plays him, who's also in a short film that I did called I Like Your Pants. But like he's so funny. Like that scene's like almost the dumbest thing I've ever seen, to the point where it's like the coolest thing that I've ever seen. And it's also like my wife's like cameo is in that scene, and it's one of the like the first scenes where she got to see like the set and the production, and like she's just watching this happens. So I like didn't let Anna read the script before the movie because I wanted her to watch the movie for the first time and be a surprise for her, which I will never do again. Like it's too hard to like keep the movie under wraps for so long. Like I can't, like the next one she's gonna be like on the freaking drawing room floor with me.
You're like, at dinner, what'd you do today?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like anything to talk about.
Yeah, it's like I have this cool scene that I can't tell you about.
Yeah, that sucks.
But it was fun, just like showing her the first time. Like we watched it in my basement. We got like the sickest setup. We have like a little home theater in the basement. It was me, Anna, Sansa. It wasn't like color graded or like sound mixed or anything, but she got like to sit down and watch it and like see everything that like I put into it, and like watching her cry and like love the movie was like the coolest experience. Cause like at the end of the day, like I just want her to like it, you know, like that's the pressure, like the person I love the most, like to care about the film. So seeing her like genuinely enjoy it and love it, and like sitting next to her in the theater last night, she's seen it 1,000,000 times and she was still crying. I was like, yo, chill out, Anna.
Act like you've been here before.
Yeah, sniffling like.
So you make a movie for you and your wife.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Well, we're dude.
It's in,
are you guys married?
No.
No.
But we all have
We have
girlfriends.
long-term
Yeah,
girlfriends.
we're like the same person at this
Right,
point. There's
sure.
like a meme where these gummy bears are like
Yeah.
like morphed together.
Yeah.
Like that's us.
You know,
like,
when you start saying we and shit, you're like, oh, we're going to, or like, we're having dinner. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, and it's like we're like the same person too. Like neither of us like going to restaurants or like hanging out with people. Like all we want to do is sit in our basement and watch Survivor.
Oh,
like,
dude, I
for
love
the millionth time. Like binging seasons. We're like so deep we watch Australian Survivor. Like there's a dude from Australia at the screening, and he was talking about the movie, and the first thing I could think of was like, do you watch Australian Survivor? I applied to be on the show, like haven't gotten a call
you
back
got it.
yet, but
Soon.
Maybe now, dude.
yeah. Hey, any Survivor or producers listening?
You brought up comps, and the dancing scene, to kind of go back to it, reminded me of Saltburn, like the ending dance
Oh,
scene.
that's funny. Did
I
you
haven't
see
seen it.
Saltburn?
No, I haven't
dude.
seen it.
Saltburn's pretty
Yeah.
twisted.
I heard it was weird.
It's
but
weird.
yeah.
I
Beautifully
did. I
shot.
did like it a lot. I won't lie.
I'm blanking on his name, but the
Jacob Elordi or Barry?
Barry.
Barry
He
Keoghan.
kind of Connor and Barry kind of like nodes.
Yeah,
of, like,
totally.
they can like kind of play the same role.
Or the guy from Perks of Being a Wildflower. Or
Yeah,
or
yeah. Wallflower.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what's his
Kinda
name?
Similar vibes.
I know what you mean. Yeah, he's like plays like this perfect like
Yeah.
normal boy. Like, hey, no one says something crazy. Like, guess how old Connor is?
Oh, shit.
If I didn't ask you this question.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, if you didn't, yeah, right.
I was going to guess like early to mid 20s.
Yeah, I would guess like 25.
24. Yeah.
24.
23.
So I'm 30. I think he's 32.
Oh,
No
wow.
way.
Yeah. He's amazing. Like imagine
32?
imagine having that kind of skincare routine.
yeah.
Like,
Wow.
that guy-
A lot of
Yeah,
retinol.
he's
Insane.
super
Retinol
dialed.
king, dude.
yeah, and he's like top of his game. Like
Wow.
Dude, we were saying, I was like, I feel like I'm watching a future like A-list celebrity.
So good. He was
incredible
so
actor.
good.
isn't he? It's like
Amazing.
Why is this
Yeah.
guy not like
Yeah.
No, like,
in every movie? It blows my mind. Like,
So good.
Yeah.
I have a question, and this is more into the weeds of the film. I don't know if you want people to know the answer to this, but
Love the weeds.
right, deep in the weeds. His sexuality in the movie, because
Yeah.
the whole time I'm going through it, I'm thinking he's gay and he's stressed out about it, and that's gonna be like a reason why
yeah,
he's
yeah.
upset. But then it kind of seems like he's just confused and has had obviously a really terrible thing happen to him when he was a child, and it just made him kind of confused, and he's
Yeah.
kind of just like fluid, but he's doesn't want to be.
Yeah.
I know I've been thinking about this since I watched the movie, basically.
So like the movie takes place in 2011, and like fluidity is like not something that was like is talked about or like understood. Especially too, like the main thing I wanted to communicate was like suicide doesn't fit all, and like there's like Will going through like all this different stuff, and there's Robin going through all this different stuff.
Right.
It's completely different, but at the same time, it makes them the same. And like doing research for the film, like one of the main things, like one of the leading factors in young people suicide is sexuality, and like dealing with sexuality, especially in a time where no one talked about it, or like in high school in 2011, like it wasn't a normal thing, you know, for people to talk about. So that was something else that led to like his confusion and like him not feeling like he had community or fitting in. Meanwhile, Robin, on the other hand, is like this incredible, like talented, like great family. And she has like extreme performance anxiety, and like she feels all this pressure, and like she lost her mom, and like she's struggling with an eating disorder, like a lot of young cross country girls like deal with. And like people don't necessarily suspect like a disorder like bulimia to like lead to suicide, but it's an impulsive disorder where like things can get so bad so quick it could lead to an impulsive decision. Whereas like Will has like these chronic factors, Robin's is very much an impulsive thing. So just kind of like wanted to like develop like these traumas in both people, and like hopefully anyone out there could see themselves in either Robin or Will.
You brought up earlier that you had a few things that kind of helped you get through those hard times back during your freshman year when you were really going through it. For someone listening to this who might be going through a really hard time,
Yeah.
do you have anything that helped you specifically get through that?
It was community.
Okay.
Honestly, for me, like it's different for everyone too. Like for example, like Will like had therapy sessions, we hear like the mom talk about like Dr. Saritha called you, like you're not picking up for your checkouts. Like therapy doesn't work for everyone, unfortunately, and like it's not something that works for me. But it does work really well for other people. But if it doesn't work for you, like I didn't want people to think that was the only option, like the only, like if it wasn't working for you, it's like, oh, nothing's gonna work. But there's like music, like Coach A brings them to the office and they just chill out, like, and like that's like a self-defining thing for Will, and like it sticks with him, even though it feels so silly. It's like a little thing that stuck with him, and it's like something that he needed to be shown, or like he needed to just feel a part of a community. And then like someone like Robin has like the thing that she loves the most and she's struggling with, she gets it like stripped away, and like she loses her community and her identity. Like there's this scene where Will has his first like race at like the scrub meet, and then afterwards Robin comes, and like this is after like the like things have been going wrong for Robin. Like her and Will like had this issue with like I call it the sex scene, which is like it's not a sex scene, but like what we can get into that scene too. But like there's like Will is like in his uniform, like his West Penn stuff, and like he has this community. He has all this stuff now, and you see Robin at this meet not in West Penn stuff, and it's like this dull like green and tan clothing, and like she has everything stripped away from her. And then when Will, just being a teenage boy, isn't able to communicate his feelings to her, like she has nothing left, and you see her get in the car and like have a meltdown, and like she's already at her lowest point. And then when the stuff presumably comes about on this tattle app of like soft serving Robin, like whatever people are saying, like it's like little thing, like even though it's like not the end of the world, like a little bit of bullying can like push people to that impulsive level once they've already been down that far. And then like Will deals with the same like little like bullying, like he's a part of that on the tattle app, but like he has his community. Like, yeah, he punches Spanky in the face and he gets the frustration out, but like he's surrounded by his community. He's in the uniform. Like, it's like, oh, this is a stupid thing. Why are we fighting? Let's get over it and move on. And like, he has the full toolkit and like has been through it all. And like Robin, unfortunately, doesn't have it.
Man, that scene was insane. It's at the last one at the house where it's just a very still shot, and the dad. Yeah,
it's a tough watch.
No, yeah, it is, but it was I mean, that was a beautifully shot too.
Thanks.
And I thought like the one take was perfect, and it was so quiet, like you could hear a pin drop in the theater. Like no, I think everyone was just so like.
And it's funny too, because like the scene before that is when they're like, there's like this euphoric moment of like the guys are back in town, you know, and like Will chases Toad and it cuts abruptly and everyone's laughing and everyone's like, ah. And like you feel the air get sucked out of the room because again, like the movie's a roller coaster. But yeah, that one take, like you asked about like how do you know and like you got it. Like we did one take. I was like, we don't need to do it again. Like that's exactly what I wanted. Like I wanted people to like sit there and have to feel uncomfortable and like see what it's like to see the aftermath of suicide, and like this dad who like this is all he has left and like all he cares about and like all he wants to do is be a superhero for his daughter, and he like thinks he's gonna sweep her up, toss her in the car and save her life, and like that's not real. Like movies are very much set up to be like an escape from reality, and like there's moments in this movie that don't let you escape, and it's uncomfortable, and it's important for a movie with this message to make you feel uncomfortable and have to look at it and like see this guy like realize he's not what, like he's just a guy, you know, and his daughter's gone. He can't just will her to life by like saying it repeatedly over and over again. Yeah, I like one of my favorite movies is Manchester by the Sea, and they do a lot of like letting real life creep into like movie moments. So that's something that I wanted to creep into this, and yeah, I think it worked out.
That specific scene, I wasn't sure. I was like on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, you don't know if she's dead or not.
I just kept thinking, don't let her be dead.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if you were going to hear the dad scream or like...
Right.
I didn't know exactly what the next shot was going to be. I was like, that scene was like heart-wrenching.
Yeah. Also, it's like like she cuts herself and like she's bleeding, but like she tries to
Yeah, that made it even worse.
yeah, she tries to recover, and like someone with like proper nutrition and like blood sugar levels and like has been eating and hydrated properly would have been able to survive and like be able to like stay alive at least long enough to get help or get help. But like we see her pass out from low blood sugar earlier in the film, and like she's not giving her body what she needs anymore, and she's exhausting herself. So like that little bit of blood spillage and like intense like energy rushing through her body, like it causes her to pass out, and because she passes out and like isn't able to like help herself, she just bleeds out. And it's like I also like to say like this movie's not about Will, it's about Will telling Robin's story. And like Will, like nobody saw her, right? This happened to her, like nobody like knows that in that moment she regrets it, but like it's Will like projecting his own regret of wanting to take his own life onto Robin, and like wanting, like almost like being like, I know for a fact like she regretted this because I know I regret this, and like wish I could have told her. So that's another little nugget.
At the end when he says, I wish I would have told her I regret it, because he said, I don't know if I regret it. That fucking got me too.
Yeah.
It stuck with me.
Yeah.
forever.
And it's like suicide too. It's like, it's nobody's fault. Like nobody's fault. Like there's nothing you can do or say like that. Like there's only so much you can do to help. But like when it happens to you, you feel like you could have done more. Or it's like, it's the hardest thing to deal with. It's just like leaves everyone with an empty feeling. And like a lot of times, like people who go through it, like they just think like the world will be fine and like better off. If they're gone, and like that's not true. Like you're wrecking everyone, and like you're leaving everyone feeling empty, and like all they want is you. They just want you there.
When you watched the final edit for the first time, what were you feeling?
Yeah, it's hard because like I edited it,
Right.
So I was like, I never really got to see like the movie.
Yeah.
I just like was seeing it as it was like being cut up and like unfolded. It's just like me alone, like editing. It's honestly like watching it last night is like more of a better experience than watching it after I edited it, because I've had separation from it for a long time. Like the version we saw last night was the first time anyone's seen that version, because I had to make some adjustments due to like music licensing, and like I had to change some music, and like I cut a couple scenes and whatnot. So it's the first time I like got to sit down and like watch the final version, and like it didn't feel like I was like stressed editing it. So I got to like sit back and watch, and like we remixed it sound wise. So like I got to just like enjoy the movie and like enjoy it with the crowd and like hear people laugh and stuff. So that was really fun and exciting, and it felt like more of like a fresher experience for my eyes. But yeah, like honestly, like when I finished editing, I was like, is anyone gonna care? Like I don't know if this is good. Like does this suck? You know? So I don't know. There was like no moment where I was like, I don't know, like I think this is gonna work. It wasn't until I started showing people and like seeing their reactions.
One of my favorite scenes, his fun fact, right, is that he's never been to a concert.
Yeah.
And then I love that they went to a concert together. I really love that.
Yeah, it's just like Robin going crazy.
Yeah.
He's just like,
Also,
Like, what do I do?
I mean, not to just go off favorite stuff. When he takes the flowers off the grave.
Yeah.
And we were all like,
Yeah. So that's like the whole time they're like he's like really envious of death.
Yeah.
And like the first time we see him alive after the opening scene is like he's looking in the grave and like just envious and like curious about how she died, because like that's all he wants for himself. And then like him taking the flowers off the grave is showing like they're dead. Screw them. I'm alive. I'm gonna live while I'm here, and it cuts in like that high energy like car moment.
And that cut was awesome where she's like, got the flower. I don't
Yeah,
know.
singing with the mic.
Awesome,
yeah,
dude.
so that used to be a Wiz Khalifa song.
Oh, really?
And it costed way too much money, so we ended up cutting it.
No, it works so well. Also, speaking of music, did you perform it? You wrote and performed one of the songs?
Yeah, the last song.
The ending credit song?
Yeah.
I thought that was my guess.
Yeah.
It kind of sounded like
so we had like, there's a song called When I'm Gone by Phil Oakes. He's a musician from the 60s, and he took his own life. And he's been dead for a really long time, but the song is all about like life's not great, but I'm not dead and I'm still here, so I'm just gonna fucking give it the old college try and make the most out of this life. And is truly like a song that like helped me write the movie and like was there at the beginning, and it's like my favorite part of the movie and irreplaceable. And they would not cut us a break on the licensing deal. Like I submitted videos of like me expressing like what the song means to me and like why it's important for this indie film, and like they wanted $40,000. You know, it's like, and it's not the artist. Like the artist has been dead for 50 years. It's like these publishing companies or whatever. Like everyone's like really greedy, honestly. Just me getting angry.
I love it.
Piece of shit labels.
Yeah. But like I had like a week to figure out a new song, and like there wasn't time to like communicate with an artist. Like I had to get this thing remixed and like ready to go for release, get a DCP made so it could play at the projection in this theater, which is like a long process. So like I just needed to make something. Like I play the guitar, like I write songs every now and then. Like I don't have the best voice in the world, but wrote a song, sang it. My buddy Matt Fell, who was also a composer on the film, helped me record it. Who was also in that rap group that I told you about like way back in the day. Threw some reverb on that bitch, and you know,
sounds good, dude. When I was watching it, because I saw your name under like written and performed, and I was like, if this is this song, my first thought was like, this fucking motherfucker, dude. He's great at making movies. Also, he can fucking sing and play guitar too. I was like, I'm sad, but I'm pissed a little bit.
I'm glad you liked it. That's my first time I've like.
No, I liked
that's the first time I heard it playing in the theater, and I was like, oh god, this is gonna be like the worst moment. I was like trying to get Tyler to start the Q&A before like the song started. But
it was a good song, honestly.
great,
yeah.
Thanks.
So
How did you like the concert scene?
So that was the original DP. Like
Gotcha.
the guy's so talented, like super amazing at what he does. So it was like a floodlight of red from the back of I think it was a Aperture 300C, just a red light pulsing through. Then on stage we had like a flickering, I think it was maybe another 300C, just like creating those like concert lights. So a combination of the red flood, that I think we had a disco ball up top, and just like a couple other little lights just around to make it feel like an actual concert
How many
space.
people were there?
How many extras did you have?
I would say like what was in that frame was as many people as we got. Like we framed it to like the fit the people. So I put out an Instagram post, and like luckily the YouTube channel like pulls through, and you get some extras and like tossing the crew, tossing the crew in the mix. Yeah. Like had some friends come out and just like have fun, and like me and our second AD, Aiden, we were on stage like with like big signs with the lyrics for people to sing along, and like funny. I'm up there like, everyone give it all you got. We're blasting the song, and it's like a state champ song, which is like that song's from like the 2011 era, and like huge state champs fan. Like actually just hung out with them and shot like their show. Their drummer and guitarist like follow my YouTube channel, and like we like had a connection through that. So just like a sick song that I listened to back in the day, and like it meant a lot for me then. So it was cool to like be able to keep it in the movie.
And then another technical question, as far as stacking the actors in the frame.
Yeah.
Is that the job of the director or the DP?
So it's actually it's a combination of the director and the second AD, the second assistant director. It's like their job to like direct extras. So me and him just like work together to like, you pretty much just pack everyone in, and like, oh, this guy's too tall, he's blocking this person. You grab them, you move them around, and you just like, you get the pieces together first, and you move them around. It's like similar to like writing, like just get the pieces down and move it around. Even
not just specifically for the concert scene,
gotcha.
but even for like some of the track scenes where it's like you have the whole team, and
that's mostly me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and like who is the focal point of the scene, like who's saying lines, and like what's the flow of dialogue. Like Spanky saying something, then Sauce is saying something, then Toe's saying something, and like it fits like a triangle, and like it feels like, I don't know, there's a lot of like geometry in filmmaking that like people don't understand. Like it's not like a conscientious thing when you're watching, but like it feels better for viewers.
Could you give us an example?
The easiest example would be like there's a lot of frames where it's a 2-shot, and like there's two people in frame standing just face to face looking at each other, and like each person is holding their own third of the space, and it feels like they're separated and like holding their own weight of the story, like whatever it is that they're owning. Like there's a scene where Robin and Will are standing like that, and like Robin is holding on to her own weight of like the stuff that she's dealing with. Will's holding on to his own weight, and like they won't like connect on it. And then there's a scene of Robin's father and Will standing there, and like Will is kind of holding the weight of Robin, and like Robin's father is like kind of like empty, like he has nothing to hold on to at that point. And there's like I don't know, I feel like I'm like not making sense.
I totally get it. Yeah.
I love the part where Will is talking to Robin at the Porta Potty, and he's like, "You can't go in there."
Yeah, because we've all been there, dude.
And then there's like the girl that's like kind of off in the right.
Yeah,
smaller.
she was Lily, our art PA.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And then Robin goes in the Porta Potty, and then Will and the girl in the back, like
Yeah.
make eye contact. Like, oh, shit.
Yeah,
he
it's
like
just-
keeps talking to her. He's
Yeah.
like, no, I didn't mean that. Fuck me.
I love
the guy who comes out of the Porta Potty before him. That's our first AD, Zach Bang.
That's
awesome. Funny.
He was just like such a vibes guy on set. Like,
what is it, like good luck or whatever? Is he going in?
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Good luck, brother.
I love how a lot of the jokes too were really relatable, but also would like just start in the middle of like the joke, like the conversation. Like there were just like, you just hear him be like, dude, 100K only? That's disgusting. I knew instantly, like they're talking about sucking a dick for sure.
Yeah.
And then Sharif was like, we just talked about this. That was so funny.
Because it's like,
We literally talked about it like as we were like drinking before the premiere. We were
Yeah.
like, no, I'm like, dude, like I
What's
don't
your
care.
price?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say it. As I get older, it's going down for some reason. I learned the value of a dollar.
it's like, hey, if I can support my family
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the rest of my life, you know?
Got rent to pay. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like going back to like the writing process is like you have all these ideas, and like how do I flow the story and combining these ideas. And like I wrote down like all the funny stuff we used to do at college and like in track and like all this stuff, and like we used to have the conversation of like how much money it would take to like
Right.
you know
Do that
perform
thing.
oral sex on a man. And you know, it's like it's just a funny conversation that the boys were having for Will to notice that Robin wasn't at practice.
Totally.
So it's like, I don't know. It just adds more depth to like the world, and it's like if it was just a shot of Will like peering over, it's like dumb movie,
Right.
You know. But like you're like thrown into this conversation, and like I don't know. It's funny. Like Will's not paying attention. Like Spanky kicks him, and like he's wearing a crop top. And, like,
Spanky, dude.
We loved so much when he is talking to Robin and Spanky has to walk to class alone. He's like, "You're gonna make me Glansburg classic."
Yeah.
Incredible super
bad
reference.
reference. Yeah, Superbad's
Got
my
me.
favorite comedy of all
Got
time.
me so good. And then he just kept going and going. And dude, we were cracking up. That was so funny.
Yeah.
How long did you lock yourself in the room to edit it for? Was it?
Yeah.
Would you wake up at? Are you an early morning guy? Or are you a sketch boy hours kind of guy?
My first thing I do, I like wake up and go for a nice like. My wife's gonna laugh at me if I say hike, but like I go for like a little hike with my dog, like in the woods or at the park. She laughs because like
She's across country and you go like a mile.
yeah,
or
it
something?
Sansa like walks so slow, like she's the slowest walker. So like it takes us like an hour to walk, like like a mile, but we call it a hike. So I like start my day that way and like make the sickest breakfast every single morning because like
The same thing,
what
or
do you
you
have?
same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah,
What is
chef
that
in there.
breakfast?
2 pieces of toast,
Nice.
turkey sausage, scrambled eggs, hash browns,
Oh, you go big.
orange juice,
Fisherman's breakfast, baby.
banana. I put chia seeds in my orange juice now. Add a little bit of fiber. I'm like really into the gut health these days. Poops have been phenomenal.
Nice, let's go.
lately. Besides this trip, like whenever I travel, I just like shoot myself in my own foot.
I think LA is a way of doing that too.
Yeah. But
If you want to spend a lot of money, you just go down the street and we'll
Yeah.
get you some chia seed stuff.
Air one? Oh yeah, dude. Chia seed city over there.
yeah.
I made chia seed pudding the other day. I got
go.
it, dude. Yeah, coconut milk chia seed. Overnight oats.
Ooh.
Dang.
Yeah, it's pretty
Little
good, actually.
chef.
You're growing up, man.
I am, dude. I'm telling you.
That's
Anyways, nice.
when we have the idea to actually fund this film
Yeah.
and we go to YouTube, talk to me about the importance of building and having a personal brand, because I know it wasn't something you intended for. You were like, I just wanted to make fun videos,
yeah.
help people, but then at the end of the day, you have this awesome group of people who support you, love the things that you're about, and you decided to use YouTube and have the behind the scenes actually be monetized, which is really unique and very cool because no other movie's doing that. You're like, let's rally the troops. We got me, we got Maddie, Carlo, and you're getting the YouTube channel sponsored. What was that like?
Like most people aren't like used to the YouTube style stuff, and it was definitely a unique experience for people. And I don't think like people really knew what to even expect. Like a lot of the crew members didn't even know who I was. Like they just heard that there was a movie happening and they just wanted to be a part of it. So like I think at first it was like odd for them to like have cameras just like constantly on them. Like it's a weird thing. Like I'm mic'd up like all day, every single day. Like everything I say is being captured, for better or for worse. But like by like the end of like the first week, like everyone was having so much fun with the BTS guys. Like they were almost like absorbing the cameras more than I was because I was so stressed. Like, so like Kim, or like one of our art department people, was just like so good on camera. It was just like eating up the camera, like having so much fun with Colin and Liam, who shot the BTS. And it was like a fun way to like capture what we went through. It's like we all felt like we had like a great fun summer, and to be able to have that and like remember it for forever is like a unique thing that I don't think many like cast and crews get to share.
And you were able to monetize the BTS with brands, correct?
Yeah. So like Music Bed was like a sponsor for an episode. Shot Deck was a sponsor for an episode. We did like Aperture shout outs and like Sony shout outs, and like we had a whole segment of like Carlo talking about like the camera and like why the Venice made sense for this project, and like shooting dual native ISO on the Venice, and like really integrated that in like organic, seamless ways, just in an educational way too, because like most of the fans of this film are going to be filmmakers just because of the audience that like help fund it, and like the audience that I have, it's like filmmakers and they want to know that stuff. So it's like a really like smooth transition. And like I would say Millinote too is like the biggest sponsor. They have like an association credit that's up front in the film, and like did a couple of videos, but their main thing is like they wanted to like just like support like one of their creators that they've been working with for a long time, and like support something bigger that they've been doing, and like be a part, like almost like a studio almost, where they can like fund like creator projects. I know like other brands are starting to do that. Shopify, I think, like started like their own like almost like creative studio space where they just want to like help creators make their content, and like it's presented by Shopify, but it's not like the creators like sitting there talking about like whatever, like selling stuff or whatever. It's just like they're a part of the project, and like that's a cool thing for a brand.
Does YouTube feel like a stepping stone, and like eventually you might leave that behind and just do features? Or do you feel like YouTube will always have a special place in your heart and you'll always make videos?
I think it'll always have a special place in my heart. Like I have like no idea like what's gonna happen like in my career with my YouTube channel. Like I'm not like the goal is not to be like a famous director. Like I don't give a shit. Like I just want to be able to like make things and like share it with people. And like as long as like YouTube's like a platform where you can do that, like I'm gonna continue to post on YouTube and like just check in with people every now and then. Like I don't know, I think it's weird when people just like they like make something big and they're like, all right, see you guys later. It's like, no, I like actually care about this, and like I've been doing it for 6 years, and it means a lot to me, and like I want to continue to post stuff on there. And like I said, like no idea what like the trajectory is. Like even if like, you know, maybe one day I just might like coach track, you know, like my wife does it. I think it's like the coolest job ever. I was like not touched, you know what I mean? Like by my track coach.
Important note.
Yeah. Coming off the movie, like important note. But no, it's like cool to be able to have like that sort of like inspire like young athletes. Like I guess I've like inspired like young filmmakers, and like why not try the track world? But
being a coach would be fun, dude. I'd love to coach wrestling.
Sure. Oh, wrestling.
Did you wrestle?
Yeah, I wrestled. Yeah.
Do you have cauliflower ear?
No, I had it drained, so it's hard.
Nice.
It's hard as a rock. So I honestly like this because it's a little less assuming. So if I you know, were to get in a street fight, they wouldn't know.
Right? I was gonna say if you had cauliflower ear, you know, like no one's fucking with
right. Yeah, exactly. My mom. I remember I came home one day and it was inflated, and then she's like, "Give me the syringe."
No way.
Just just took it all out, and it just hardened up. It's hard as a rock.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, I think it would be fun to be a coach.
Definitely.
Would
Yeah.
you be like a hard ass, or would you
Nah.
you're a nice guy?
Yeah, like I would be like Coach A. Like,
Coach
Yeah.
A,
like-
okay.
Like he was my actual coach in the film. Like he just played himself, which
Yeah,
is like cool.
so
The guy
good.
like no interest in acting, like no idea what he was getting himself into.
That's
But
funny.
no, he's just like the most relaxed dude. And like you want to like perform better for that guy. Like anytime I had like a screamer or anything, I'm like like I just felt tense and like
Totally.
Yeah.
I like being around a coach that's like relaxed and like, you know, like they're okay with like however you performed as long as like you're getting better and like taking the steps in practice and like taking everything seriously.
Was there a specific point in the YouTube career where you were like, yo, I might not have to make as many like I might have to not take a DP job that I don't want to do right
Yeah,
now.
definitely.
I can
Yeah.
actually do the YouTube. And was it very gradual, or was it one specific
Yeah,
video?
it was gradual. Like I started posting it in like early 2018. And like I didn't start like making a little bit of money for like 2 years of making it. And then when the pandemic hit, my channel like really took off, which was good because I wasn't like taking too many DP jobs. And I think a lot more people were just watching YouTube videos. That's where it grew. And that's where I saw the money start to become more than what I was making in my DP career. I was like, oh shit, like maybe I should pursue this and just like make the projects that I want to make and like find unique ways to monetize, which was like the short films and BTS stuff. When we moved to Hawaii, I did like a bunch of those with like the Rafa Rides cycling piece, and like I made like a New Balance baseball spec piece, and like all those little films like kind of like grew the channel and like proved the model, right? The model that we eventually ended up using for the movie. But yeah, it came a point where I was just like, all right, I can do whatever I want to do and also make more money. So it was a no-brainer for me, especially like I'm like a huge like client set guy. Like, I don't know, just like, I don't, commercials are fun when you like make them look cool, but at the end of the day, I just always felt like we were selling a product, you know? So
Yeah, they're like, can we get 17 more product shots? And
Right.
it's
Yeah,
every-
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, no one's gonna watch
yeah, it's
it.
draining, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like they don't understand how much effort it takes out of you to like get another shot. you know?
Right.
Do you feel like you're breaking a barrier though? I feel like you guys are the first people from YouTube, or to have, you know, an audience on YouTube to be able to pull off a feature film like this. Do you feel like you're going to start seeing other people maybe start to follow your same model? I also feel like along with the message of the story of the film, I feel like a message that you were talking about in the Q&A is like, you got to just go make something. Like, it doesn't have to be this big.
Yeah.
Like, just go make something. So do you also feel like that's something you hope people take away from watching
Yeah.
your film?
I don't feel like I'm breaking barriers. Like there's been like a lot of YouTubers who have made movies, like whether they come from like the gaming world or like, I don't know, like I know Yes Theory like made like not a narrative movie, but like they made their own like documentary and like feature film. So like people are like realizing like this is a good way to like fund it, make it, and like share it. Like I think I'm one of the first ones in like this unique filmmaking group where like these are the filmmakers that are trying to learn and like trying to make these things. And I'm like one of the first people in this niche to be like, guys, let's just freaking do it. Like I'll be the guinea pig. We'll see if it works. And like, hopefully like the rest of us can like make our projects and like can prove that this is like a proven route. So I do feel like for our niche, like I'm like trying to lead the charge the best I can and like represent YouTube filmmakers and like add legitimacy to like what we're doing. Like there's a stigma attached to YouTube and the filmmaking industry, which I think is becoming a little less like, I don't know. I don't want to say like they perceive it to be lame or whatever it is, but that's the truth. And like, I don't know. I think we're kind of like starting to break that down and like make it feel like a more legitimate thing.
Where are people going to be able to watch the film?
So the film we're going to self-release the film on itisfilm.com. Anyone, anywhere in the entire world can watch it, which is like another reason I wanted to go this route. Because a lot of the other distribution companies and whatever we were talking about, like the movie would have only been released in the US, or it would have only been released in the US and the UK. And like, there's so many people who watch my channel, and like people who came to the screening last night who are from like Sweden and Germany and Australia. And I wanted to make sure that like this very diverse, large group of filmmakers all around the world, like everyone could watch this thing, and like they've been a part of the behind the scenes, and like they've seen me go through the entire thing. Like I want to give everyone the opportunity to watch it. So that was like the best way for us to do it. And also like a lot of these like distribution companies just take advantage of independent films, to be honest. And like we are basically getting like told like, we'll take 30% to market to your own audience, and we're like, this is dumb.
Right.
Like why don't we just do it ourselves? And like it's a lot of work to like set up your own site and like platform and like all the back end stuff. But I don't know, we think it fits the storyline too of like just going for it and not waiting for someone else, just like making your own way and like being able to put it up. Like there's a lot of Netflix comedians as well who are like skipping, not Netflix comedians in general, who are skipping Netflix or like whatever HBO for their specials and creating their own platform and self-distributing their projects on their own site and going to direct to consumer. And there's kind of like when you do it that way, it kind of feels more personal too, you know, like maybe like someone's aunt might like struggle with like the idea of like watching like or like renting through a website or whatever it is, but like the film's for the community, like it's for us. Like yeah, like it'd be nice if it like broke out and like became like widespread, but like I made this for us, and like I want to make sure that like we get a chance to watch it.
How much does it cost to buy the film?
So it's only rental right now.
Okay.
It's a 30-day rental. So it's $6.99 to rent.
Come on.
Yeah.
Lock in. Put your card in.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And then
The
there's
description.
a filmmaker package too for where you download the script, you get my director's
that's
commentary.
cool.
So sick.
You can listen to me like ramble over the entire movie and like call out Easter eggs and like talk about like, oh, this scene was like hard for this specific reason, or like, you know, like there's a scene where Robin's father walks out in the hospital and he's just wearing flip flops. Like the guy just forgot his shoes, you know, and it's just like, all right, I guess we're rolling with flip flops. So there's like a ton of like fun stuff like that you get to watch. And like we filmed the Q&A last night. And we're gonna cut it up
sick.
and like attach that to every rental at the $6.99. So like every person who watches the film can then like experience the Q&A like afterwards. And I thought that would be like a unique experience for people.
That's really cool.
Because also like I feel like sometimes like yeah, like the movie's great, but the like what went into the movie and like the BTS and like the filmmaker's perspective in this instance is like almost like just as interesting, especially for the community that helped fund it.
Yeah, it's
100%.
gonna be awesome. I got one more for you.
Yeah.
Okay, what is some advice, Danny, to your 18-year-old self before we get out of here?
Yeah, stop being a little bitch, dude. No, I would say it's just like no technical advice, nothing. Like my advice is always just to be like, just have fun. Like life is just bullshit. Like nothing matters. Like just like most of life sucks if you just like let it suck. Like just have fun. Like things are gonna be hard. Just like try to find the fun in anything, and like don't take yourself too seriously. Like it's just not worth it. Like, you know, like we're all just people trying to figure stuff out. Like no one actually knows what they're doing. So just go out, have fun, be kind.
Danny, thank you so much for coming on
Thank
to
you, guys.
episode 112
Yes.
of the 505 Pod. If you're still here, please hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment, leave a like, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Nice, dude.
Go watch the
What an
movie.
episode.
Good.
Yeah, watch the movie. Watch it. Go watch it.
Come on, dude.
Woo, love you.
Stay for the high fives. Watch the movie.